Day 2 of the Oscar Pistorius has concluded, and a very emotional day in court. We saw tears today, first from witness Michelle Berger. She is Oscar Pistorius' neighbor and testified over the past 2 days to hearing screams, blood-curdling screams from a woman interspersed with 4 gunshots, the last scream after the final gunshot faded. She was put through a rigorous cross-examination by advocate Barry Rue. She stood her ground, digging in her heels, but at times Barry Rue certainly tore strips off her as he tried to prove that she was unreliable, didn't really know what she was hearing, and one of the key points of dispute seems to be over whether she heard a man or a woman screaming. And he put it to her, was it possible that it was Oscar Pistorius crying after he realized that River Steenkamp was dead? Another key point was that what she heard was not gunshots, but in fact a cricket bat hitting a door. When it came back to Prosecutor Nell to ask her clarificatory questions, it was really all too much for Michelle Berger. And when Nell asked her what her state of mind has been when she thinks about what happened on that night, she broke down into tears and then went on to say that she has to relive these screams every time she is in the shower. The other emotional point in this case was actually from Oscar Pistorius himself. Now, we haven't seen a lot of emotion from him. He's been a lot more composed, a lot more assured, really, than during his bail hearing, where we saw him sobbing relentlessly throughout this case. But today, when advocate Barry Rue went over River Steenkamp's injuries and what would she have gone through as each bullet entered her body until she sunk lifeless and slumped to the floor, that is when it just became too much for Oscar Pistorius. And we saw him at one point put his head down, covering his ears, almost as if he didn't want to hear the testimony that was being led. And then he pulled out a tissue to wipe away, which were obviously tears at that point. He was crying. 2 more witnesses called to the stand today. Estelle van der Merwe, another neighbor who again testified to hearing 4 explosive sounds. She couldn't say if they were gunshots or not, and also to a woman screaming in between them. And Michelle Berger's husband, Charles Johnson, was called to the witness stand. He too testified very clearly to hearing 4 gunshots and a woman screaming in between until the final scream after the last gunshot, which also faded away. He will be put through his paces by advocate Barry Rue tomorrow when court resumes at 9:30.